Nice win today. I feel like every time you guys play Lehigh, it's always pretty close. So um, I wanted to start with Sydney Johnson. Obviously, she had an amazing game. The
Yeah.
19 points is great. The shooting's great, but I mean, the 9 assists in particular stands out. It feels like over the course of this year, she's slowly taken on more like lead facilitating duties, and she basically ran the offense for you guys today. What has earned that trust from you?
Yeah, I mean, she's just such a dynamic playmaker, and I really don't feel like anybody in our league can keep them in front of her, or her in front of them rather. And so, when we have the ball in our hands, and we know that whether it's zone or man, and we set ball screens, she's either gonna get something for herself or get something really good for her teammates. She's got great court vision, and she delivers passes on the money. I mean, you saw some of her really beautiful playmaking passes, and Marin, was the recipient of a couple of those, and our shooters. And so, I just think that the more she understands kind of what her skill set enables her to do, it makes our team better.
And then talking about Marin too, I know she didn't play a large portion of the first half. I guess I first wanted to ask you what the decision making was with going with a lot more Kiara Tibbet in the first half.
Marin had 2 fouls.
Just fouls, yeah.
Yeah, she had 2 fouls. So, and the way they were calling the game, I didn't want to risk. Generally that's a rule. Like if you have 2 fouls, you sit. But especially the way the game was being called, I didn't want to jeopardize having to sit her for longer in the second half. And so Key came in and was did a great job being physical inside, and knocked in I think at least 1 or 2 buckets, and just really was great off the bench for us. And then when Riley got in foul trouble and Emily came in, same thing. So I think to be able to stem that tide and go into halftime at 5, was really proud of their effort, both of them.
And then Marin comes in the second half. I think 15 of her 17 were in the second half. And she, especially in the fourth quarter, she kind of dominated. Was there anything that you guys switched up that allowed her to do that, or do you think she just kind of was more aggressive?
No, yeah, it was just her mindset. I've been telling her same thing. I don't think anybody can guard her in the league. I think she's shooting some 70% from the floor, which is ridiculous. So I've just been trying to be her personal hype man, or woman as it were, this year, and just kind of tell her, when we throw the ball to you, something good is going to happen. You're unselfish. So if you're doubled, you kick it out to people, but one-on-one in the paint, go to work. And I think, she just really took heed of that. And when she came back in, who wants to sit for almost an entire half, so especially in a game that decides, win or go home. So I was so proud of her, and she really did have a dominating performance.
Some teams, especially like Lafayette today, kind of rely on one player to score within the whole game, while you've kind of relied on so many different players to play and score. How have you created a team where you can rely on so many people?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to recruiting and kind of the mentality of we want 5 people on the floor at any given time that are able to, pass, dribble, and shoot, right? And so if you've got 5 weapons out there at any given time, you can't key in on just one player. And so I've talked about that since I got here, and as we've been going into year 4 now, or finishing year 3, I think we've gotten to a place now where we do have that, and you've seen it really across all of our stat sheets across the season. And so, where other teams may have dominating performances night in, and night out from different players, and maybe our players aren't, going to be as recognized in the statistics at the league level, we still are going to win games, and we're still going to be really successful because we can have any given person on any given night step up and have a dominating performance. And so I think that makes us really special, and I think it makes us hard to guard.
Coach, I think one of my last questions, obviously it's when you play against Lafayette, you're game planning kind of regarding around Natalie Kukowski too, and she's going to get hers. What the way she plays in general, because she does so much today?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know what she ended up with. I don't have the stat sheet in front of me.
She had, I think, 20 and 15, but she didn't shoot super well. It took a
Right.
lot of shots. Yeah.
Yeah, so we knew like she's gonna get hers, like you said, right? She's a dynamic player on both ends. But we knew we wanted to make it difficult. Every touch, it was crowded in the high post or the low post. Like she was gonna have to earn every point. And the more shots she took, that means less guys were taking it, and she was taking more contested or more rushed shots. I think she got 2 wide open threes, which I wasn't happy about. But again, she's a senior and she's a great player. But I think that overall, we wanted to make her earn it, and we're also philosophically saying the other guys were going to have to beat us, and they were going to have to make more shots. And we also knew that Drew Freeland is a great 3-point shooter, so we needed to know where she was at all times. And so I think our kids did a pretty decent job. At the end, that was my fault. I told Sid to go double, but I wasn't realizing that she was, when we switched, that she was on to Freeland. So you can charge that one to me. But for the most part, I think they understood our game plan, and that's what this time of year is about, right? We're not going to get a whole lot faster. We're not going to get a whole lot more skilled, but mentality wise and understanding, how to execute in these situations is really where we're going to be able to thrive and continue to advance.